Is addiction a disease? Well, fundamentally, no, but partly. We call it a disease because that's a useful way of thinking about it. It allows us to find mechanisms that we can treat. But there's problems that come with that. For one, it's incomplete. And two, it causes us to look more for band-aid solutions than helping people to address the problem at its source. And on the other hand, you have the perspective that it's purely a spiritual illness, or it's a consequence of a person's lack of discipline or lack of willpower. And this perspective rarely comes packaged with some kind of a map or a way forward. One is too specific, one is too ambiguous. Maybe that's one way to think about it. I think Carl Jung has a solution. Jung had a tendency across various aspects of the psyche to find a nexus where science and religion could meet in the middle and shake hands. And the result was often something poetic, useful, practical, beautiful, and clear. These harmonics that he hit could be described as balancing points that release the tension between logos and eros, rationality and emotion. And his map for the addict was no exception. Rather than being the consequence of a physically caused disease, Jung saw the cycle of addiction as the outer symptom. And he would say that the symptom pointed into the addict to a story that they were unconsciously living, and that the story pointed deeper to a wound on their soul, and that wound pointed to whatever that particular soul needed to find its way back to wholeness. And because, and rightfully so, not everybody is ready and equipped to encounter themselves at those depths. The system views and treats addiction as a mechanical function, as a disease. The message to individuals, however, is that the journey into recovery begins when you put the substance down. In other words, some people, when they put the substance down, are going to recognize that addiction as a calling. But a calling implies that an answer is being awaited. And if you've heard that call, then there's something waiting for you to answer.